So throughout the show, there's many times where Hamilton sort of goes into his own head, speaks about his fears, speaks about his desires, his needs. And there's a monologue that says, "I imagine death," and he does it several times in the show. And in my head, what I wanted to capture was like the pause of time and do a filmic close-up to almost like see what's in the back of his head. So as they're marching into the Battle of Yorktown, his first time in total command of his battalion, what we see is his group of marching troops sort of freeze, and they bring to life this lyric that he says. So right away, a thing that's very important is that we stop time so that the audience knows that this gesture is very stylized. So it goes 6, 7, I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. This is where it gets me. So this position right here is important to me. It's the sense of pride that says, I believe in something so much, you can put a knife to my neck and I'm not going to change how I feel. So from memory, up in the back of my head, whom, we have this very vicious, violent position where now he's not afraid of facing death. So we have 6, 7, I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. This is where it gets me. On my feet, enemy, head of me, right there. If this is the end of me, this was a hard move for us because it looks like I'm tying my bow tie. So I knew that I just wanted it to be simple, like whoom, it's over. So we have this little here. When I was making this show, I have 2 kids, and one of my favorite things to do is spend the end of my day, like right before the kids' bedtime, watching the Yankees. And so that time that I have with my son, like, is really, really important. This lyric is, at least I have a friend with me. And so this is sort of channeling that idea. So from here, I take the baseball behind my back into my batting, into my glove. Instead of the pitch, it goes all the way to point to my rifle, which gets held up over my head. So it's equating the sense of that weapon's gonna save me, and that idea is as important as my best friend by my side. So it goes, if this is the end of me, at least I have a friend with me, weapon in my hand, command, whoom. So it's like the rank, my epaulets, the uniform, but also this musculature of being totally in charge. Command, and then head of me, whoom. So I'm in marching formation behind him. He starts to think about his wife and the fact that she's gonna have a baby. The music doesn't do this, but I always heard a heartbeat, so it goes boom, boom. And so that's sort of reflected in the music, but for me, what I needed the cast to do was feel that heartbeat. So right away, we have a roll, and it goes to a contraction that starts to point to my head as if all I'm thinking about is what's in my head. So it goes 6, 7, and boom, boom. He's talking about his wife. To the other side, boom. And so what this is saying that the thing that's in the back of my head is ruling me. So this memory, this thought is way over here. We grab it, we put it down, and Eliza is right over our head on the balcony. We turn, and now this is where the fantasy, well, not so much fantasy, but the stop time of his thoughts starts to come back into real speed. The lyric is, we gotta go, we gotta get the job done. So when we were working on this, in this section we actually made up right down the street at a dance studio here in Harlem. It was about saying, how can we find a hip-hop step that feels like march? And we sort of went to this place. And right away we flip down the clothes as if we don't care about anything but ourselves. So it has a real street sensibility. So it goes 6, 7, 8, 1. We gotta go, we gotta get the job done. We push out with our foot, boom, boom, and throws down, and that's what takes us into formation. So the whole thing looks like this.